investigation into the sensational Dharmasthala buried body case has now entered its second day, and this is with the SIT being formed and the efforts are being ramped up at the burial sites. Now, viewers, to fast-track the process, the SIT has split into 3 separate teams here, each conducting simultaneous exhumations under the strict supervision of local tehsildars, government witnesses and also a team of manual labourers in the area. Now, according to sources, authorities have identified about 3 grave-like spots, all of which are now being dug up manually. In fact, the use of heavy machinery has been deliberately ruled out in these cases to protect both the environment and also any delicate skeletal remains that may lie beneath the surface. Now, viewers, yesterday's excavation at what investigators call point number 1 ended with no discoveries. However, the search continues today as the SIT acts on a tip of pointing to as many as about 13 possible locations. That's a crucial update coming in this case. Now, my colleague Gautam Shankar is joining me with more updates. Gautam, help us understand what's the latest in the case. We're given to understand that SIT has been formed and meanwhile efforts have been ramped up at the burial sites as well.
Yes, Ashita. So the special investigation team, which has been formed by the Karnataka state government, is currently probing these allegations of mass grave burials at Dharmasthala, which is in Mangalore district of Karnataka. And they have begun the excavating process yesterday itself. And right now, there are 3 suspected burial sites that they are currently looking into. Now, the authorities are basically looking to speed up the process due to the sensitivity of the case, given the fact that it has happened close to a very prominent religious heritage site of Karnataka and actually India as well. And they have formed 3 teams that are overlooking the operations. And the excavations will be carried out in the presence of tahsildars that are present there as well. Now, coming to today's development, what we understand is that so far they have not had any success in day 2 of this excavation process as well, where they're hoping to exhume some bodies that the whistleblower and the complainant in this case had claimed that there were several bodies that may have been buried in a reserve forest area near this Netravati river. And right now, the people that are involved in this operation are actually carrying out manual digging. They're not using any sort of heavy equipment like JCBs or anything, because they fear that the bodies could be damaged if there is any. And the complainant also in this case has claimed that he himself has buried bodies of several women and girls who were allegedly raped and killed. These were the allegations that were made by the whistleblower, who was actually a former sanitation worker who worked in this region as well. And he has actually come forward and said that after all these years, he was overtaken by a sense of guilty consciousness, and that is the reason he's come out and complained right now. So, following his complaints that happened earlier in July, the Karnataka state government formed a special investigation team in on July 19th, and right now he is also being escorted. He's actually been escorted in a suit and a mask to ensure his identity is concealed, as he also fears for his life and family safety. So far there has been nothing from the operations that have been taken place near the Netravati bathing point. Yesterday also they dug up to a depth of almost 8 feet, 15 feet wide as well, but no human remains have been found. Keep in mind that this whistleblower has identified 13 such spots. So it will take a few days. Today is just the spot number 2 that they're looking into. But the SIT is actually asking for permission from the district administration as well, that they want to have multiple teams digging in multiple areas, but also given that it's constantly raining in these regions right now, it's making the process a little more difficult than it needs to be right now.
All right, so that's the latest update here. On day 2, no body has been found, and we understand there are about 13 locations that the team will be looking into. Now, interestingly, you mentioned the whistleblower, who is a former sanitation worker, and how he confessed that he was forced to bury these bodies of women who were the victims of sexual abuse, right? So could you please explain more about this specific whistleblower in this case? And what was his role essentially?
The whistleblower Yes, Ashita. So the whistleblower in this case is essentially a former sanitation worker. Now, he is the one who's claimed that there are several locations near this holy site, which is basically called Snanagata, where people come to take holy baths near the banks of the river Nedravati. So he's identified several spots in forest region that is right next to this bathing spot, and he says that several bodies have been buried here, and even the inspection site also included one of the places that the whistleblower had indicated that he had dug up a human skull as well, and which he actually had submitted previously to the authorities while filing a complaint as well. Now, following this, the Mahajar is basically being conducted now under heavy police presence with personnel from Dharmasthala and Velthandi as well. And the whistleblower's face is actually being concealed to make sure his identity is not revealed as well. So he's along with the officials accompanying them as well. Now, what he actually claims is that he was forced to bury multiple bodies, some of which showed signs of sexual assault, and claimed that he had been threatened not to approach the police as well. So the whistleblower is now claiming that he's acting out of guilt and a sort of moral burden which he feels and which has actually compelled him to come forward. So the FIR was registered on July 4th by the Dharmasthala police, and following pressure from
Right.
activist groups and public outcry, the Karnataka government also formed an SIT, and right now the excavation process is underway in multiple locations.